Imagine something as tiny as a single mineral ion dropping your blood pressure so low that you feel the room spin, or just as suddenly flattening the very medication that keeps your heart rhythm steady. That scenario isn't hypothetical. It's been documented in emergency department case reports from Harvard's Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, where patients arrived dizzy or fainting because a harmless-looking magnesium supplement quietly amplified their blood pressure or diabetes drugs. Magnesium's reputation is gold-plated, nature's chill pill, essential for 300-plus enzymatic reactions, a simple fix for tight calves and restless nights. Yet that halo effect can seduce us into an everyday ritual that's missing one critical ingredient: context. In biology, context is everything. When folks need protein supplements, you give them what they want, you give them what they need. The same 200 milligram capsule that relaxes your muscles can, in the wrong physiological setting, too low potassium, impaired kidney filtration, or a concurrent proton pump inhibitor, shift from remedy to risk. Here's what the research shows. Nearly 48% of adults over 55 take at least one prescription drug known to interact with magnesium. Journal of the American Geriatric Society 2024. Meanwhile, supplement labels routinely declare 400 milligram magnesium glycinate, though only a fraction is true elemental magnesium. Sometimes 50 milligrams, sometimes the full 400. The gap between what you think you're swallowing and what your bloodstream actually receives is wide enough to trigger arrhythmias, blunt antibiotics, or quietly drain your vitamin D reserves. Tonight, we're going to close that gap. We'll break down 6 science-backed insights, how filler additives hijack absorption, why elemental dosage matters more than compound weight, which drug classes demand a timing buffer, the often ignored potassium to calcium to magnesium triangle, early warning signs your kidneys flash when magnesium is off balance, and finally, a protocol to personalize intake without guesswork. Stay with me, because by the end, you'll have a practical toolkit, dosing rules, lab markers to request, and timing strategies that let magnesium enhance, not sabotage, your sleep, muscle function, and long-term cardiovascular health. Ready to recalibrate? Let's dive in. When you pick up a bottle of magnesium glycinate that says 400 mg, it feels reassuring, like you're giving your body exactly what it needs. But what if I told you that most people misunderstand what that number really means? This is one of the most common and costly misconceptions in supplement use today, confusing compound weight with elemental magnesium. Let's break this down. Magnesium glycinate is a chelated compound, meaning magnesium is chemically bound to the amino acid glycine. That bond helps your body absorb the mineral more efficiently. It's a great choice. But here's the catch. The label that says 400 mg magnesium glycinate doesn't mean you're getting 400 mg of magnesium. It means you're getting 400 mg of the entire compound, magnesium plus glycine. Depending on the ratio, that pill may only contain 40 to 80 mg of elemental magnesium, the actual mineral your cells use in enzymatic reactions, nerve signaling, and muscle contraction. This is where the numbers game gets dangerous. Many people assume they're underdosing, especially if their symptoms persist, so they double or triple the dosage. But if they happen to be taking a brand that does use high-potency forms or includes more elemental magnesium than average, they could be unknowingly exceeding the safe daily limit of 350 to 400 milligrams. For someone with borderline kidney function, this can tip the body into magnesium overload, a state that silently increases fatigue, slows cardiac conduction, and stresses your kidneys. Here's what the research shows. A 2020 review published in Nutrients found that over 60% of over-the-counter magnesium products fail to clearly list elemental magnesium content. And worse, many products tested contained more or less than what was stated on the label. So even if you're diligent, you may still be guessing. So what can you do? First, always check the label for the phrase elemental magnesium. Some high-integrity brands will write magnesium as magnesium glycinate to 200 mg of daily. elemental. This clarity tells you exactly how much magnesium you're actually getting. Second, limit total elemental magnesium intake to 300 to 400 mg/day unless directed otherwise by a medical provider. This includes all forms, dietary and supplemental. Third, track how your body feels. If you experience new onset nausea, unusual lethargy, muscle weakness, or a drop in blood pressure, it's worth reassessing your dose, even if it seems low on paper. And here's a protocol you can use to titrate your magnesium intelligently. Magnesium titration tool. Start with 100 milligrams of elemental magnesium, ideally glycinate or threonate for best absorption. Wait 5 to 7 days. Monitor energy levels, muscle tension, and digestion. Increase by 50 to 100 milligrams only if symptoms persist and no side effects appear. Cap total daily intake at 400 milligrams unless under physician supervision. When it comes to magnesium, more is not always better. It's about reaching the right dose for your system, not hitting some arbitrary number on the bottle. If this insight is already helping you reframe how you think about supplements, I'd love for you to subscribe and join our community. We're building a library of grounded, science-backed strategies to optimize your mind, body, and long-term health. Now that we've cleared up the label confusion, let's move into something even more invisible, yet potentially more disruptive. In the next section, you'll learn about the hidden additives inside many magnesium pills that may silently interfere with your health goals, especially if you struggle with inflammation, digestive sensitivity, or blood sugar swings. You could be buying the cleanest sounding magnesium on the shelf, yet still end up sabotaging your health because of what's hidden around the magnesium, not inside it. Talking about inactive ingredients, binders, fillers, lubricants, and flow agents. On paper, they're meant to help with pill formation, preservation, or smooth manufacturing. But inside your body, many of these substances can reduce absorption, irritate the gut, disrupt nutrient balance, or in some cases, act as metabolic disruptors over time. Let's start with a common culprit, magnesium stearate. This sounds like a form of magnesium, and that's where many get misled. It's not. Magnesium stearate is actually a lubricant used to prevent capsules from sticking to manufacturing equipment. It forms a thin, hydrophobic film that can coat the lining of your intestines, especially in those with slower gut motility, reducing absorption of not only magnesium, but potentially other vital nutrients as well. A 2017 review in Clinical Nutrition ESPN highlighted how certain stearate compounds, while generally recognized as safe in low doses, may impair the bioavailability of fat-soluble vitamins like D and K in sensitive individuals. Next up, microcrystalline cellulose, which sounds technical, but is essentially refined wood pulp. It gives tablets structure, but your body doesn't digest it. For many people, that's not a major issue, but if you already struggle with IBS, leaky gut, or slow transit time, this additive can ferment in the colon, causing gas, bloating, and even reducing your gut lining's capacity to absorb magnesium effectively. Then there's silicon dioxide and titanium dioxide, often used to give supplements that bright, clean color. Here's the issue. While these compounds have been deemed safe in small quantities, the European Food Safety Authority in 2021 suspended its safety recommendation on titanium dioxide, classifying it as a potential carcinogen when accumulated in the body over time. Unfortunately, it's still present in many U.S. supplements, especially the cheaper or mass market versions. And finally, maltodextrin, a seemingly harmless white powder, often added as a binder or sweetener, but its glycemic index is higher than table sugar. For people trying to manage blood sugar, especially those taking magnesium to support metabolic health or reduce insulin resistance, this one ingredient can completely backfire. A 2018 study in the Journal of Nutrition found that maltodextrin not only causes rapid glucose spikes, but may alter gut microbiota in ways that promote low-grade inflammation. Now, I'm not saying these additives are deadly, But when you take them every day, especially over months or years, and stack them with medications or chronic conditions, the accumulated impact becomes very real. So how do you protect yourself? Start by reading the full ingredient list every time. If the bottle only highlights magnesium glycinate on the front, but the back lists magnesium stearate, titanium dioxide, or maltodextrin, it's a red flag. Next, perform a simple water test at home. Drop your magnesium tablet or capsule into a clear glass of warm water. If it dissolves with an oily sheen floating on top, that's often magnesium stearate. If it tastes oddly sweet, even without flavoring, that could indicate maltodextrin. Here's a simple protocol to follow. Clean magnesium checklist. Look for supplements labeled additive-free or no excipients. Prioritize powder or capsule forms from reputable brands that state third-party tested. Avoid bright white pills or heavily coated tablets that are often hiding titanium dioxide. Choose smaller brands committed to transparency. Even better if they list both elemental content and inactive ingredients clearly. If your goal is better sleep, muscle recovery, or calm energy, none of that happens when fillers are clogging up your system or quietly interfering with other nutrients. The supplement you're taking to optimize your health should never come with ingredients that compromise it. And if you're finding value here, consider subscribing. This channel is built to give you the truth behind popular supplements, backed by real science and explained in a way that empowers your decisions. Magnesium is natural, essential, and widely available, but that doesn't mean it's harmless when mixed with medication. In fact, some of the most concerning clinical reports about magnesium come not from overdose or toxicity, but from unexpected drug interactions that quietly alter how medications behave in your body. And the scariest part? These interactions are rarely explained at the pharmacy counter or even during routine checkups, yet they affect millions of people. Let's walk through how this happens. First, understand this. Magnesium is a charged mineral ion. That electrical charge makes it incredibly useful in biology. It helps regulate heart rhythm, muscle contractions, and nerve firing. But it also makes magnesium reactive in the gut and bloodstream, meaning it can bind, block, or amplify the effects of certain medications. Let's begin with antibiotics, specifically tetracyclines like doxycycline and fluoroquinolones like ciprofloxacin. These antibiotics rely on absorption in the upper small intestine, but magnesium, because of its ionic structure, binds to the drug molecules and neutralizes them, forming complexes that get excreted instead of absorbed. This is called chelation, and it's why a 2020 clinical review in pharmacotherapy strongly recommends separating magnesium and these antibiotics by at least 4 hours. Next up, blood pressure medications. Magnesium has a natural calcium channel blocking effect, meaning it can gently relax your vascular system and help reduce blood pressure. Sounds great until it overlaps with a prescribed calcium channel blocker like amlodipine or nifedipine. In this case, the combination can lead to excessive blood pressure drops, resulting in dizziness, lightheadedness, or even fainting. This is especially dangerous for older adults whose baroreceptors, the body's internal blood pressure regulators, are already less responsive. Then we have diabetes medications like metformin or insulin. Magnesium improves insulin sensitivity, which is a good thing, except when combined with glucose-lowering drugs, it can lead to hypoglycemia, particularly if meals are skipped or if kidney function is impaired. A 2021 review published in Diabetes Care noted that magnesium supplementation significantly enhanced glucose uptake in muscle, but also warned of increased risk of low blood sugar events when combined with oral hypoglycemics. Let's not forget diuretics, specifically thiazide diuretics and potassium-sparing ones like spironolactone. Here's what the research shows. Thiazides, like hydrochlorothiazide, increase urinary magnesium loss, potentially creating a deficiency even if you're supplementing. That can cause cramps, fatigue, or arrhythmias. Spironolactone, on the other hand, reduces magnesium excretion, raising the risk of magnesium buildup in your blood, especially if taken alongside supplements. Even something as common as proton pump inhibitors, like omeprazole, can disrupt your magnesium levels. PPIs block stomach acid to reduce reflux, but that same acid is necessary for magnesium absorption. Long-term use of PPIs has been shown in multiple studies, including one from the American Journal of Medicine, to contribute to clinically significant magnesium deficiency, which may go unnoticed for months or even years. So what can you do to stay safe while still benefiting from magnesium? Here's a simple behavioral protocol. Magnesium medication timing tool if you're on antibiotics. Take magnesium at least 4 hours apart. If you're on blood pressure or diabetes meds, start with low magnesium doses, 100 to 150 milligrams elemental, and monitor symptoms carefully. If you're taking PPIs or thiazides, ask your doctor to check serum magnesium annually. If you're on spironolactone, avoid high-dose magnesium unless prescribed. Again, magnesium in any form of a drug, see the magnesium unless prescribed. And most importantly, talk to your prescribing physician or pharmacist. Bring your magnesium bottle with you. Ask, does this interact with any of my meds or change how they're absorbed or cleared? That one question can prevent a long chain of problems, dizziness, fatigue, muscle dysfunction, or dangerous blood sugar drops that are often blamed on aging or stress, but may actually be magnesium interactions in disguise. Magnesium is powerful, but in biology, power without context leads to chaos. When used wisely, it becomes a supportive ally. When taken blindly, it can quietly destabilize your system. Why magnesium needs to work in harmony with other vitamins and minerals, and how the solo supplement mindset is sabotaging results for millions. Keep going. You're building a more intelligent system for your body. Magnesium is often hailed as a master mineral, and with good reason. It supports over 300 enzymatic reactions, from ATP production and DNA repair to mood regulation and muscle function. But here's the neuroscience-backed truth that many people overlook. Magnesium cannot perform its full biological role unless it's in harmony with other key nutrients. When we isolate one nutrient and flood the body with it without understanding its metabolic coactors, we risk throwing off the very systems we're trying to improve. Think of your body like an orchestra. Magnesium may be the conductor, but if potassium, calcium, vitamin D, and B vitamins are out of tune, the entire performance suffers. Let's start with potassium, which works closely with magnesium in maintaining electrical balance across cell membrane. When potassium is low, magnesium can't effectively regulate nerve impulses or muscle contractions. A 2019 study in clinical electrophysiology found that up to 30% of people with recurring muscle cramps had adequate magnesium levels, but subclinical potassium deficiency. They didn't need more magnesium, they needed balance. This becomes especially critical if you're taking medications that deplete potassium, such as diuretics. Without enough potassium, magnesium supplementation often feels ineffective, leading to overuse or frustration. What's happening in your body is that magnesium can't activate its calming effects without potassium at the cellular gate. Next, consider calcium. These two minerals often compete for absorption and cellular influence. Too much calcium and not enough magnesium can lead to a state of excitability, where muscles cramp, nerves feel jittery, and sleep becomes disrupted. A landmark study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that the ideal calcium to magnesium ratio for most adults is around 2-1. But the average Western diet often pushes that ratio to 4-1 or higher due to calcium-fortified foods and dairy intake. Then there's vitamin D, which regulates magnesium's transport and absorption. Low vitamin D can make magnesium less bioavailable, even if you're supplementing. A 2018 study in Nutrients revealed that people with low vitamin D status required higher doses of magnesium to see the same improvements in mood and sleep quality as those with adequate D levels. Now let's bring in two lesser known but equally important players, vitamin B1, thiamine, and vitamin B2, riboflavin. Both of these B vitamins are essential cofactors in magnesium-dependent enzymatic processes. Thiamine, for example, is needed for proper glucose metabolism and nerve conduction, functions where magnesium plays a supportive role. Without enough B1, magnesium may appear ineffective, especially for people using it to manage blood sugar or calm the nervous system. Riboflavin, on the other hand, works in migraine prevention, a space where magnesium also plays a proven role. According to a 2020 review in Headache, the Journal of Head and Face Pain, combining magnesium with B2 and vitamin D led to significantly greater migraine reduction than magnesium alone. So what does all this mean for your supplement strategy? Here's a practical synergy protocol. Magnesium synergy protocol. Pair magnesium with at least 2 servings/day of potassium-rich foods, e.g. avocado, spinach, sweet potatoes. Ensure a balanced calcium intake, not too high from dairy or fortified foods. Check your vitamin D status with a blood test and aim for levels between 40 to 60 ml. Add a B-complex supplement or include foods rich in thiamine, sunflower seeds, lentils, and riboflavin. This isn't about overcomplicating things. It's about understanding your body as a system. When one part is out of sync, even the best supplement won't fix the problem. If you've ever taken magnesium and wondered why it didn't help your cramps, your sleep, or your stress, it may not have been the wrong dose. It may have been a missing partner. Now, we're going to talk about how to listen to your body, specifically how to recognize the subtle early warning signs that magnesium isn't working well for you and how to adjust your approach with precision. These signs often go unnoticed, but once you learn to read them, you gain a powerful feedback loop. Let's move forward. One of the most powerful tools in health optimization isn't found in a lab or a bottle. It's your own awareness. Your body is constantly sending you feedback. The challenge is learning to decode it. When it comes to magnesium, most people assume it's natural, so it's safe, or more is better. But what the research and clinical experience shows is that even essential nutrients can become problematic when your body's signals are ignored. Let's start with what those signals actually look like. When magnesium levels are too low, you might feel restless, experience muscle cramps, especially at night, get frequent headaches, or notice heart palpitations. But when magnesium levels are too high, or when the form, dosage, or timing is off, the symptoms can mimic other health issues, making it easy to miss the connection. Here are some of the most commonly overlooked signs that your magnesium supplementation isn't right for your body. Persistent diarrhea or loose stools. This is especially common with magnesium oxide or citrate forms. While these types are useful for constipation, they are poorly absorbed and can create chronic GI stress if used daily without medical guidance. A 2021 study in gastrointestinal pharmacology confirmed that even low doses of poorly absorbed magnesium can disrupt electrolyte balance in sensitive individuals. Unusual muscle weakness or fatigue. Magnesium helps activate energy production through ATP synthesis, but when levels are too high or absorption is inefficient, it can create an imbalance that paradoxically leaves you feeling more sluggish. This is especially true if your potassium or calcium levels are off, as discussed in the last section. Dizziness, lightheadedness, or blood pressure drops. This is one of the more serious but often misattributed symptoms. Magnesium acts as a natural muscle relaxant, including on vascular smooth muscle. Too much can dilate blood vessels, dropping blood pressure unexpectedly, especially in those already on medications like beta blockers or calcium channel blockers. Kidney discomfort or pressure. Some people report a subtle ache or strange awareness in the lower back near the kidney area after starting magnesium. This isn't common, but it can indicate that your kidneys are working harder to excrete excess magnesium, particularly if hydration is low or kidney function is already reduced. Brain fog or emotional flatness. Magnesium is involved in regulating glutamate, GABA, and other neurotransmitters. An inappropriate dose, even if within the normal range, may blunt emotional tone or reduce cognitive clarity, especially if paired with low B vitamins or inadequate sleep. So how do you respond to these signals in an intelligent, non-fearful way? First, you pause and adjust. Don't just push through. If you notice any of these symptoms after starting or increasing magnesium, try reducing the dose by 50% for 5 to 7 days. Observe changes in energy, digestion, and mood. Often, that small adjustment is enough to bring your system back into balance. Second, consider switching the form of magnesium. Glycinate and threonate are more bioavailable and gentler on the GI system compared to citrate or oxide. If you're reacting poorly to one type, the problem may not be magnesium itself, but how your body is processing that specific form. Third, track your symptoms in a simple journal. Note the time you take magnesium, what else you consumed that day, e.g., caffeine, calcium-rich foods, medications, and how you feel in the hours following. Patterns emerge quickly with just a few days of consistent tracking. And finally, if symptoms persist, get lab work done. Ask for serum magnesium, serum calcium, potassium, and a basic metabolic panel, including creatinine, to assess kidney function. These tests provide a clearer window into how your body is processing and regulating these minerals, and they're especially important if you're over 60 or on multiple medications. Listening to your body doesn't mean becoming anxious about every symptom. It means becoming informed and acting from a place of calm observation rather than confusion or fear. Because when you tune into your body's cues, magnesium becomes not just a supplement, but a tool for feedback, learning, and growth. The older we get, the more our physiology changes, not just in how we feel, but in how our bodies process nutrients, medications, and even the supplements we've taken for years. And magnesium is no exception. If you're over 65 or caring for someone who is, here's what you need to know. The same magnesium dose that once worked wonders in your 30s may now pose risks to your kidneys, cardiovascular system, and medication balance. That's not because magnesium is suddenly dangerous. It's because aging changes how your body absorbs, utilizes, and excretes it. Let's begin with the kidneys. As we age, glomerular filtration rate, GFR, which is how your kidneys filter waste and excess minerals from the blood, naturally declines. This is a normal part of aging, but it has major implications for magnesium. Magnesium is primarily excreted through the kidneys. So when filtration slows, even modest doses can build up, especially if you're taking it daily and not monitoring levels. This buildup isn't always obvious. Early signs like fatigue, nausea, or mild confusion are easy to attribute to just getting older. But in reality, they may indicate a quiet accumulation of excess magnesium in your system. Research from the Journal of the American Society of Nephrology, 2022, found that individuals over 65 had significantly lower magnesium clearance rates, even with healthy serum levels, meaning blood tests alone may not reflect the full picture. You could be normal on paper, but still accumulating magnesium over time. Another major factor, the reality that most older adults are taking multiple medications. Blood pressure meds, diabetes drugs, diuretics, proton pump inhibitors, each of these affects magnesium status differently. Some deplete it, others intensify its effects, and some, like potassium-sparing diuretics, can even increase magnesium to dangerous levels. This is where it becomes essential to take a personalized, medically guided approach. Instead of guessing or continuing a daily magnesium habit just because, here's a smarter way to move forward. Magnesium safety protocol for adults 65 plus. Get a baseline blood panel every 6 to 12 months. Ask your doctor to include serum magnesium, calcium, potassium, creatinine, and eGFR, a kidney function marker. Start low and go slow. Begin with 100 milligram elemental magnesium and only increase under medical supervision. Space supplements away from medications. Take magnesium at least 2 hours apart from other prescriptions to avoid interference or absorption issues. Watch for subtle symptoms. Excessive drowsiness, decreased appetite, changes in bowel habits, or new onset fatigue may be early warning signs, not aging. Avoid magnesium oxide. It's poorly absorbed and more likely to stress the kidneys. Prefer gentler forms like magnesium glycinate or magnesium threonate, which offer better bioavailability with fewer GI side effects. It's also worth understanding that the emotional and cognitive effects of magnesium can become more pronounced with age. While magnesium may enhance calm and reduce anxiety, too much, especially in individuals with already low nervous system activation, can lead to mental dullness or reduced alertness. That's not a side effect most people talk about, but in practice, it matters, especially if cognitive sharpness is something you're actively protecting. Finally, hydration becomes crucial as kidney filtration slows. Water intake directly impacts your ability to excrete excess minerals. If you're taking magnesium daily, make sure you're drinking enough water to help your system move it efficiently. Aging doesn't mean giving up powerful tools like magnesium, but it does mean using them with wisdom and precision. The goal is not to eliminate supplements, it's to personalize them based on your biology, your medications, and your stage of life. Because when used properly, magnesium can still support strong sleep, flexible muscles, and a more resilient nervous system, even into your 80s and beyond. Now, we'll tie everything together, from hidden label tricks and nutrient synergy to medication interactions and age-specific protocols. You'll walk away with a simple, science-backed framework to safely and effectively use magnesium for life. Let's move into the conclusion. Magnesium is one of the most vital minerals in the human body. It powers enzymes, supports your heart, calms your mind, helps muscles recover, and strengthens bones. But here's the truth that most people miss. Magnesium is not just good or bad. It's a powerful tool, and tools only work when you know how to use them properly. Throughout this journey, we've explored what most magnesium users never hear. Not because the science doesn't exist, but because nuance rarely makes it into headlines or supplement ads. We began with a crucial clarification. The dose on the label isn't always the dose your body receives. Most people confuse total compound weight with elemental magnesium. That single misunderstanding leads to accidental underdosing, or worse, silent overdosing that builds over time. Then we uncovered the reality of additives. Fillers like magnesium stearate, maltodextrin, or titanium dioxide may seem trivial, but over time, they can reduce absorption, inflame the gut, or even spike your blood sugar. The solution isn't to fear supplements, but to demand transparency and simplicity. In the third insight, we broke open the underestimated world of drug interactions. Whether it's antibiotics being blocked, blood pressure meds being amplified, or diabetes medications pushing blood sugar too low, magnesium can act like a silent amplifier. Not harmful by nature, but disruptive without timing, spacing, and supervision. We then turned to the idea of synergy. The key truth that magnesium only works when its nutrient partners are also supported. Potassium, calcium, vitamin D, B1 and B2, they aren't optional accessories. They are the co-conductors of your nervous system, your heartbeat, and your metabolism. Ignoring them creates imbalance. Supporting them creates harmony. After that, we sharpen the lens on how your body speaks to you. Diarrhea, dizziness, fatigue, kidney sensations, they're not just random, they're data. And when you use your awareness like a monitoring system, you become your own best biofeedback tool. Finally, we talk directly to those in the 65-plus age group, where kidney function shifts, medications multiply, and magnesium management must become more precise. The lesson here is age doesn't limit what's possible. It just changes how you need to listen, test, and respond. So, where do we go from here? Here's a simple framework, a kind of magnesium operating manual for anyone who wants to continue reaping the benefits without the risks. Smart Magnesium Protocol. All ages, always verify elemental magnesium content. Don't assume, check the label, or email the company. Avoid supplements with unnecessary additives. Clean capsules, powders, and third-party tested brands are best. Time it right. Take magnesium at night if using for sleep, and always away from meds unless guided otherwise. Track your body's response. Journal symptoms for 7 to 10 days after starting or changing dosage. Test regularly if you're over 60 or on medications. Include serum magnesium, creatinine, potassium, and EGFR. Pair it with supportive nutrients. Prioritize potassium-rich foods. Check your vitamin D status, and ensure B-complex support. Here's the real takeaway. Magnesium isn't a magic fix. It's a high-leverage tool. And like any high-leverage tool, it delivers incredible results when applied with intelligence, feedback, and a systems mindset. You don't need to fear magnesium. You need to understand it. That's how you protect your health, optimize your energy, and avoid becoming one of the millions unknowingly held back by a supplement they thought was helping. If today's deep dive gave you clarity, if it helped you look at your health choices with sharper eyes, I'd be honored if you'd like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to our channel. We're here to build a science-based community where your body and mind get better with time, not more confused. Remember, the best health decisions aren't based on hype, they're based on awareness. Thanks for being part of this journey. I'll see you in the next episode where we'll continue transforming cutting-edge science into tools you can use every day.